Hey, good morning, folks. So I am here in beautiful encampment, still at the cabin owned by John, the community supporter, and just came back from a lovely breakfast slash lunch potluck type thing with the church here in encampment. A huge thank you to Janice and everyone at the church there. It was wonderful. And basically, just hanging out, getting to socialize. I did get to go chat with John. Uh, Incredible stories, just chatting with him, and yeah, he had a good hand in helping out with the CDT, so it was just really neat to meet him. And yeah, I have just been hanging out here at the cabin area. Let me back out a little bit. And this cool neighborhood, it's really neat because the main road through here is paved, but throughout the neighborhoods, it's all gravel, which is nice. Yeah, real laid back feel, really good people, but just been doing some maintenance and get everything sorted this morning. I laid out all my food for the next 3 days. Well, 3.5 days because I'm a hike for about 5-10 miles tonight, just to make it a little bit shorter to get into Steamboat Springs there in beautiful Colorado. My intent is to cross into Colorado sometime tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon, depending on how the day goes. Yeah, very exciting. And then be in Steamboat by September the 3rd, which is about 2 days ahead of schedule. I wanted to be there. I wanted to be in Colorado by September 5th, so I'm actually a couple days ahead of schedule. Got the fire to thank for that. Yeah, right now I'm actually working on my trekking poles. I just put on new trekking pole tips, and I'm actually working on putting the trekking pole straps on right now, which I'll show you because it's a little bit more complicated, but not super difficult to do. It's just a little bit more intricate than the tips are. But anyways, I'll show you guys that, and then we'll be getting out of here pretty soon. And this is the inside of the cabin. So this is where I've stayed for, well, I guess just overnight. Really nice, really clean. They've got it well decorated and a number of beds. I racked out in that one right there. Very, very comfortable. Oh, one thing before I move on. I met a trail hiker called Ribs yesterday, and he had left his trekking pole here, or lost it rather, and they found it. So I'm going to try to reunite him with his trekking pole, whether I hike with it or I try to see if Fidget is willing to take it in the van and bounce it forward to Steamboat. And here is the living room area. It was nice. I was working on a bunch of videos last night and just hung out on the couch and threw South Park on the TV and just let everything upload, and yeah, a lot of good stuff. And then kitchen and also my workbench right now. So as you can see here, you've got the head of the trekking pole. And the problem I was dealing with, I'll just set this here. So the problem I had was that my trekking pole strap broke. So what'll happen after a little while with these guys is where it connects to the trekking pole. So this is a brand new one, you can see right there. So you open and close these to adjust how large you want it. So what'll happen is that'll get sweaty and break after a while. And that is exactly what happened here. You can see how that's torn, and what it should look like is it's connected by a screw right there that screws into the head of this piece. So what's going to happen is I'm going to take the nice new strap here and then screw it into this attachment piece, and then you thread it into the head here. If I can do it. Doing math in public right now. So it sits in there like that, and you've got to just make sure that you thread the handle in there, and it's a little bit complicated because it's got these little cylinders that pinch it and create tension. So it takes a little bit of movement to make it work, but it eventually does work. That's the main tour here. I'm gonna work on getting this final pole fixed and get out. Actually, also I've still got you on, so the trekking pole tips, what will happen to these guys is they'll wear out after a little while. So what you do is just put a crescent wrench right here. You don't tighten it all the way down, just enough to where it has a tight seal around this. And you just take a hammer and whap, and it'll shoot these off the end of it. And then you just screw the new tips down in there. So these are nice new ones. And the other ones weren't bad, but eventually what will happen is this piece will cave in, and then you've just got little stubs on the end of it, and it's no good for you.
like 1 p.m., 1:30. They're gonna pick me up and drop.
You got big stick? You got your big stick?
Afternoon, everyone. So we are back on trail after the wonderful stay and encampment. Huge thanks to John. Huge thanks to Denise. Thank you all so much for your kindness and hospitality. It was wonderful getting to know you. I hope you'll come visit us in Alaska. Today is pretty easy. It's going to be 10 miles from Battle Pass, where we got back on the trail. And that'll set us up for, I think it's 3 24-mile days, to be very manageable. And like I said, we will hit Colorado tomorrow morning. Well, probably about lunchtime tomorrow. I think we're gonna camp like 9 or 10 miles from the Colorado border, which is so exciting. I love Wyoming. I'm ready to leave. It's been a great state, but you just got the end of them and you're like ready to make the next move. And Colorado is kind of the crux of the Thru-hike, with difficulty in needing to race the snows and get through before the snow flies. But I think we're gonna do it. I mean, today's August 31st. We're gonna do about 600-ish miles through Colorado with some of the alternates that I've worked in there. So assuming doing 4 days per 100 miles, you know, that's about 20 days. So we should be through Colorado by October, which is what everyone says is you want to get through by 1 October into New Mexico. And I think we're gonna do it, which is amazing. Been hiking with Merlin and 15, who was Jan, he just got a trail name, and then Wilco. And Wilco I met all the way back at Luna's Hostel in East Glacier on like day 5 of the hike. So it was cool to see him again and just be surrounded by good people. It's a really good hiking bubble to be in right now. All right, guys, I'm gonna get to hiking. We're going uphill. Boy, this hiking is sublime, guys. It is perfect temperature, perfect conditions. The trail has been hilly, but not overdoing it. And it's that time of the day where it feels like Mother Nature and the days just kind of lean back into its recliner to wind down. Everything's just calmed down. You got all of the animals that are starting out to come out to feed for the evening. And it's nice and quiet, just really peaceful. And with that, I wanted to give you guys some of my thoughts on the trail, because the last time I did that was all the way back before the Benchmark Wilderness Ranch in the Bob Marshall Wilderness. And guess how many miles away that was? That was 13, almost 1,400 miles back. That is insane to say that. And I feel like we just crossed over 1,000. And I mean, we're hitting the halfway point right now. Actually, this is the halfway point of the trail, and the second half of a thru hike always goes way faster than the first half. My thoughts on the CDT: it is a beautiful trail. It is a difficult trail. It will challenge you for sure. Not that the other two trails won't challenge you, but it's just everything at once. It's a lot of everything, like the tread of the trail, the conditions, the logistics associated with it, and the variety on this thing as well, because you'll get desert, and then you'll get alpine climbing, and you'll get the gentle switchbacks, and then you'll get the straight up and downs that the AT has. It's just like all of the trails, it seems like, consolidated into one. And then you've also got the grizzly bears to deal with, so you've got the wildlife as well that you got to be conscious of, and the fact that the CDT is still developing as a trail, like the AT and the PCT are fully set up and they're heavily trafficked trails, whereas the CDT is not like that. You can get some really nice sections, but you also will get a section where you're trying to figure out where the hell you're going all day, because it's just so austere, and these areas are so remote that they just don't get a lot of trail maintenance. So it's easier to lose, and you're dealing with generally harsher conditions, I think, than you would on the other two. I can't speak to the PCT as much, but some of the PCTers I've talked to have said that. But one thing that the CDT is king of is the wilderness. That is, without a doubt, one of the biggest benefits of being out here, depending on how you like to hike. If you enjoy solitude and wilderness, CDT bar none's the way to go. It is wild still. It is still rugged. I imagine the CDT is what the AT was 30 years ago and what the PCT was 20 years ago. Oh my gosh, I got one heck of a view of what I'm 99% sure is Colorado to show you guys. Here you go. Look at that. We are almost there, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I think of the CDT in a nutshell. I would definitely recommend it. Absolutely a wilderness hike. The community isn't as big, but it's just as tightly knit as the other two. Overall, I'm loving it. I think by the time I get out of Colorado, I'm going to be ready to be done. Because there is a point on the Thru-hike where you just are ready to be done. And I suspect after the ruggedness of Colorado and having 2,200 miles on my legs, I will be ready to be done by the time I hit New Mexico. But fortunately, it's a pretty friendly state. All right, guys, those are my thoughts. There's the water source for the evening. We are about a quarter mile away from camp. I'm gonna try to get away from this water so there's not a ton of condensation. There is a tent site here, but yeah, I don't feel like having that much condensation, even though it's getting cold again. Oh, sorry about that. It's getting cold, so I think it's just gonna be one of those things where the body heat causes condensation, but if I can avoid too much of it, I'm definitely going to. But all that to say, we're almost done. We're gonna go just a little bit further. I got to the camping spot that I originally wanted to be at, and there was another tent there, and I didn't want to disturb them because they were already set up, and I plan on cooking dinner and running my stove and all that good stuff. So trying to be considerate, but I should be able to hit there's a gap in the mountains coming up, and I should be able to find a tent spot there. If not, we'll just keep walking until we find something. It's a beautiful evening with the stars out. I really wish I could get that on camera, but this camera's pretty dang good, but it's not that good. I can get photos of stars and the moon pretty well, but trying to get a video of it just doesn't work out so well. It doesn't have the same sensitivity. Okay guys, not too much longer. Actually, right in here might work because it's starting to flatten out a lot. Alrighty, be in camp soon. Beans and rice with the Fritos in it and Taco Bell sauce. Oh man, this thing is the freaking bomb. So I'm getting the overnight oats all constituted, or reconstituted rather. And man, I doubled up a batch because I had a little bit too much food. This thing is gonna sit like a rock in my stomach tomorrow. Like this whole bag. Hang on, let me see if I can get it out. It's just full, like totally full. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to finish that. I'm lying. I'm gonna be able to finish that. I got hiker hunger, but it's gonna sit in there like a rock. Lots of energy though. Hey folks, let's go ahead and do this closeout here. As I said earlier, sitting here in camp at a beautiful gap, a 9.8 miles from Colorado. That is unreal. I know we had a little bit of help from the wildfire, but still, the fact that Wyoming blipped by so quickly is amazing. And it was a heck of a state. I gotta say, like, it started off nice and gentle. It was a great reprieve from the borderlands with Montana, Idaho. Then we hit the basin, which was interesting, but still able to bang that out pretty quickly. And now we're up in the high country again, and it's freaking gorgeous. And yeah, I can't believe it's over tomorrow. It's amazing. We ended up doing about 11.5 miles today, had an outrageously beautiful sunset, and I feel like an idiot because I could have been taking incredible photos with my phone of the night sky this whole time. Definitely haven't, and you should watch the end of this video if I didn't insert them in the clips because they are freaking amazing. I got some photos of my stove, and yeah, all that to say, I'm going to take some more night photos because that was freaking impressive. Really good day today, guys. I mean, spent some time with the community supporters down in encampment, and man, I'm just so thankful for all the people that I've been able to meet on this trail, and gracious for the hospitality they provided, and gracious for their time and their friendship. It has been amazing. Once again, best part of the trail is by far the people. I think tomorrow is going to be a 24 to 26 mile day, so a little bit more challenging than today was, and I think the elevation is going to start wearing on me pretty quickly because it does seem like we've got some big climbs coming up. But you know what? That's what we've expected of Colorado. It's going to be tough. It's going to be difficult, but it's also going to be beautiful. And we've got so much support through Colorado from family and friends and community supporters. Like, I mean, I would be hardly able to take a step in Colorado without tripping over somebody we know that's wonderfully kind and is willing to help us out. All right, guys, it's a little bit after 9 p.m., so I am going to rack out. The intent is to wake up around 5:30 tomorrow. That way I can take my time throughout the day and not have to rush everything and just enjoy it. All right, y'all. Last night in Wyoming. Let's go.